Hello, hello. My screen's going to change a couple times. I'm trying to figure out my picture in picture because it's just not working. So right now you might see two pictures. It doesn't seem to be giving me what I'm looking for because I'm doing the instructions, but it does not seem to be working. If you can see me, let me know. If my pages are just flip-flopping back and forth, that's fine. No, it's just not going to work. So we're going to go back to this view here. And hello! All right, we're going to just stick with the old-fashioned style here. I'm Nicole with Equally Creative by Nicole. It is Thursday evening. Thank heavens. It is Friday Eve is really what this is. I had a very arduous 10-hour day at work today, and I am ready to share with you a cute little Christmas ornament that holds Ghirardelli chocolate squares. So I'm going to share that with you. And I'm going to pull one apart in a second so that you can see what everything looks like going in. So these look adorable on trees. You can tuck a gift card in them or some dollar bills behind the Ghirardelli squares, little surprise. So let me go ahead. I'm going to switch that camera back around. Again, if you can hear me, let me know you can hear me. Everything's working right. I was trying to get fancy and do picture in picture, but I still can't make it work. So this is what the ornament looks like. I do my fancy little extra ribbon tie, and then I tie these onto the branches of the Christmas tree. Okay. So that just kind of hangs on the tree. And I used an older stamp set for this, but I've got some current materials. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this apart and show you just how easy it is. So I've got two labels, one for the front, one for the back. You can sign this however you'd like. And then I'm going to pull out those chocolate squares. Let's untie this layer here with that little gold twist in there. I'm just realizing that I did not bring any ribbon to the table with me. Oh, such a pain in the butt. All right, so again, this is done with a 6x6 square. I actually used some retired papers from last year, but I do believe this is part of the current Take a Bow paper. I'm looking because I feel like it's current. What's on the back of that? But I could be wrong. I might have used, so that is last year's, one of last year's papers, because I'm not seeing it, but I thought it was current. Anyhow, so 6x6 paper, we're going to do some score. I am going to use current paper to show how to make the new one. So I'm going to use this one to, I really wanted to draw some lines so you could see those score marks. Okay. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to draw them right on here so that you can see them. And when I photograph this later, you'll have all those measurements ready to go. So you are going to score this from each point. And then you've got that center score line. Now, I don't do the flip front and back stuff. There is a valley and a ridge either way. It's going to fold up nicely in either direction. So I don't worry about which direction I do the scoring, as in it doesn't matter which side of the paper you score. You can still fold it in either direction. I hope that makes sense because I really, that day was really long. I have no idea if my brain is still working because by 3:10, I have said my brain was off. All right, so here's what the scoring looks like with those nice bold lines. Um, so let's go ahead. I'm going to use my ruler to give you all very, very precise measurements here. Okay, so you're going to go from point to point, and then you're simply going to do a 1/2 inch on either side, okay? So 1/2 of an inch here. I'll just turn it this way. 1/2 an inch here, okay? So the trickiest measurement is getting this inside measurement. So you'll turn it and you are going to do 2 3/4 from each point in. Once you've done those center lines, you're going to be able to line that up with a scoring tool, or if you're using the score blade on your paper trimmer. So let's show you what that looks like. Again, I wanted to use the marker to show you this because when I do this fancy gold shiny stuff, you're not really going to be able to see the score lines on here. So that's what they're for. So let's go ahead. I'm going to use my paper trimmer for this to show you how I do it. I think you can see pretty much the whole thing. Want to make sure we're using a gray blade. This is light for scoring because it's just light pressure. I open that flap. I'm going to put one point down and I put my finger on there, and I can kind of pivot this so that I have the matching points. Okay. Then I'll close that down and I'm going to go ahead and lightly score center. Then I'm going to slide over to the 1/2 inch mark. Again, I pivoted from there and I'm going to score that again, turn this over, or you can the other direction. However, makes most sense for you works. Pivot again, point to point, 1/2 inch mark, and I slid that back and forth. So again, you probably cannot see this. However, I have a center line scored and have 2 additional lines out from either side of that center line. So now I'm going to turn it in the other direction, and I'm going to score 2 3/4 from each point over. So 2 3/4, and then I am using that center line to make sure that I am as perpendicular or squared up as possible. Okay. And then scoring that. And then I will again flip that around and go 2 3/4, trying to line that up as much as I possibly can. Of course, this is a real flashy paper. Okay. So hopefully I got that squared up. We're about to find out. So that is it for the scoring. Now I do have, I used just some scrap cardstock. So this is just a piece 1/2 inch wide. This is a 6 inch, 1/2 inch. It is not going to be completely long enough to cover the entire piece, but we're going to use our label as like a little jumper. Makes sense. I'll share that with you in just a moment. Get this baby folded. All right, so we have to create this little in and out. So we're going to fold just to get the crease lines on all 3 of these. Hopefully I scored that hard enough. There we go. Okay. So just to kind of get all of those shapes and folds in. And then I will take this and fold it in. And I'll take this one and fold it in. Okay. And I do want my shimmery side to kind of peek out. So once I've folded my sides in, I can then turn this. It's going to be like a fan fold almost. Why? Let's burnish some edges and see if it won't lay flat. Now, I typically don't do any adhesive, and I've made a million of these. So let's see if I can make that happen a little bit better. Okay. And then fold this one up. And now I'm going to fold the whole thing in half on that center crease, so that it has that little extra space in there. I line this up, and I then take a big fancy tool that nobody owns, right? Simple little hole punch, and I'm just kind of putting this in that top corner and going ahead and punching that down. Okay. So now that I have this part, this is where you would use your ribbon. This is not the ribbon I'm going to keep on this, but I will show what that looks like. And then my fancy little fun trick. If you have something heavy set on here, we'll use that just in case you don't have our fancy little reverse tours. But I know a lady that can hook you up. And then I just tie this. Okay. So that is the bulk of what this looks like. So my Ghirardelli squares fit in here. Again, you could tuck some money behind there or something special. A little private message could go in there. So now I'm going to put this in the back, or what I'm deeming as the back for the moment. And I'm going to fold this around to the front, just like this. I'm not doing anything else with it for the moment. I just wanted to kind of get these little creases in here so that I knew where to adhere our label in a second. So we have some very vanilla to coordinate with this paper. So we will punch 2 of these out because we want one for the back for a signature and one for the front that we're going to stamp on. Okay. So whichever side you want to be the back, that's where your signature is going to go. So I'm going to fold that back around. Now I flipped it around because I'm just going to adhere the plain label, and that's what's going to hold that little scrap of paper down. So essentially I'm going to put some adhesive on here. Just on my ends. And then pull this back together. Just like that. Okay, so now you can sign here. And then we can embellish the front. Okay. So this was I think this was from last year, this stamp set. I really loved this. I used it so much, and apparently I wanted to use it some more this year. But I want to use Greetings of the Season. We're going to a little bit of some gold embossing. And if I had remembered my plan, I was going to little gifts and the to and from on the back, but I can do that for my next one. So let me go ahead and cut those out so you can see what that would look like. So I'm going to show you a fun little trick that you can do with your Stampin' Write markers. So I am going to just put my stamp on my clear acrylic block. Okay. I want these to be different colors. I don't think I think I have used the gifts. I'm not real sure. So I'm just going to clean them a teeny tiny bit, because if I haven't used this particular one, I want to go ahead and just kind of clear off all of the manufacturer residue that exists on the clear photopolymer stamps. Okay. So, and the main thing is I'm going to stamp this, make sure it's nice and dry. We're going to color these gifts a couple different colors. Got 1, 2, 3 gifts. So, I just, why do I have decision fatigue right this very second? Because I didn't make this decision earlier. All right, so just because I want to show you the colors. So we're going to color each of these packages a different color. We're using the Stampin' Write. Okay, this is the same ink that is in our ink pads. And you can see I'm just kind of coloring that gift package and the bow. And I will do each one a different color just to add a little fun element. You can do this with any of our stamps. It doesn't have to be clear photopolymer. It just shows up really nicely with this. The cute polka dots. Now the trick is, by the time you're done coloring this, it's probably going to be a little dry. And if you were a big high school person that dabbled in some experimental things, you're going to think that this term is a little different than what it is. But we're going to huff on this stamp. And basically, we're just going to add a little moisture from our breath onto the stamp to re-moisten those colors. And that's it. And I'm just going to add this on here. Cute, 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 right? All right, so we'll set that aside, and then we will use the to and the from. And again, I could use those markers, but I just tossed them all aside. So here is to and from in Cherry Cobbler. And there you have it. Okay, so that is going to be the back of one of my next ones. So let's go ahead. We're going to do some embossing with the gold. So I'm going to grab a Versamark ink pad. Okay, it's like a little water stamp. And we're going to go ahead and do both of these. And before I do that, let me show you what I'm going to use. Okay, so this is a bundle currently available as a bundle right now. It's called With Love. So that was the gifts. And then greetings of the season. We're going to use this beautiful Merry and Christmas. And I'm going to share one of my Christmas cards. That is the Merry and the Christmas that we're going to use. But we are going to see if I can get it to fit on here. So, oops, not the right one. That's Love and Joy. If I have to, we'll use that one. So what I like to do with these to see if I can make it work is I'm just laying the stamp directly on my label. And I don't think this Mary is going to work. So I'm going to have to see about using the other one, which is always fun to mix and match the fonts, which I absolutely love when they do this because I have a Mary in script and in this block lettering. Excuse me. So let's add the block lettering to this one. I'm going to wash that one off because I have not used this one yet. All right, so the key to embossing, and we actually have a new style of embossing powder. We have these wow embossing powders. So this is the old style. This is the new style. And I don't have a fancy tray filled, so we're going to use this fancy tray with our Versamark on there and our block for the Christmas. Oh, I forgot. I was going to show y'all my trick. Because we're doing everything in the same color, I lay this on here where I want it, and then I can use one block for both of those words. Okay, just pop that off. We'll turn those over. Nice and clean surfaces. I am going to do both of them at the same time. So you want to use an embossing buddy. So these guys come together. You get an embossing buddy, a tray, and a little paintbrush kind of thing. So you can see it puts a little powder in there. And what that's going to do is that is going to help keep only the wet Versamark ink to hold onto the embossing powder itself. It won't stick miscellaneously to the piece of paper. Okay, so put that right beside here. So the Versamark ink is super, super sticky. It stays wet for a little bit longer than your regular inks. So you can use this to create a watermark. It does take a bit longer to dry on a piece of cardstock. And you can also use it to create fun embossing. So you can't see anything because I'm using Very Vanilla. And this is a clear ink. And that one slipped a little, so we'll have to see what that looks like when I emboss it. So I did both of those, and now I'm going to gently place them without touching that ink. Live video, right? Into my tray, and then I'm going to sprinkle it with my embossing powder. I'm just going to generously shake this on top of each one. Okay. And then just kind of shake it. This tray also comes with the fancy tweezers. So you can see where my fingers were. Okay, so that's what it looks like before we emboss. Okay. Just kind of gently flicking that again. And because I do not want this to fly everywhere, I don't use the little spout very much. I break the rules and I just dump it right back out here. But you can use the little spout and it will guide it a little more directionally. And then it's got the fun little paintbrush kind of thing that comes with it. But I don't have mine nearby. It's in a tool caddy over here. Again, it's not really that necessary. But these fun tweezers have a very special coating on them. So the tweezers themselves are not going hot while I do the heat embossing. So I'm going to run my embossing tool for just a moment. It does have two settings, a high and a low, a 1 and a 2. The 1 is to just kind of heat set things. So any of your inks that might take a little longer to dry, like the Versamark or our pigment ink, like the StazOn, can take a little bit longer to dry. So you can use this on the first setting, and just kind of dry things. To do the heat embossing, however, you definitely want it on the higher heat setting. And let's see if it is hot enough yet. I like to run it for just a moment to let it warm up. Let's see. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. I feel like my video has been wonky the last couple of days with like hesitations. So this is what that looks like once it is heat embossed. You can see the shine on there. All right, so let me go ahead and do the second one pretty quickly while my gun is still kind of hot. You can see when it just kind of glosses over, melts. It's like a waxy coating. It's a lot of fun. Okay. That is ready. So now I, on a very last minute whim here, have decided that I'm going to use this bow punch or bow punch. I think it's a bow. And I'm going to grab some scrap paper here. So this is one of the colors in there. And I'm just going to add a little bit of greenery to this and give it a little zhuzhing. Just so I have plenty of green pieces here. Okay. So that's just a fun, quick and easy punch to add these fun elements. So I'm going to put these pieces directly onto my little scrap here before I put this. So we will add these. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive right across this, keeping it directly on that scrap. And that is just for these little extra pieces because I'm going to raise this up on dimensionals, of course. Now I could punch another set of these in a different color, but I'm just going to keep our color scheme monotoned here. And I'm going to do these in the down direction just for a little extra interest. Okay, and then I'm going to pop this on here with dimensionals. pull those backings off. And then I can turn this over and add this right on top here. So that is what that looks like. Now I'm going to change this out to a cream colored ribbon and probably just a gold here, but that is what that looks like. And again, you can color on your stamps with your Stampin' Right markers. Hi, Lisa. And you can embellish in many different ways. So I'm actually going to add a couple of little adhesive something or another's on there just to kind of add even more bling. So we have gold already. I'm going to use a couple of red dots for a pop of color. These are the Cherry Cobbler Pearl Adhesive Back Pearl Berries. I'm sorry, Cherry Cobbler and Pearl Adhesive Backed Berries. Oh my gosh, tongue-tied. Okay. So 1, 2. I think I love it. Thank you, Lisa. All right, so that is day 9 of my 12 days. And let me look at my calendar that I had created that I have failed at keeping accurate because I was out of town and things are a little crazy. So let's see. I had to move some things around. So today was day 9, which should have been on the 3rd. So I will go live again tomorrow with day 10. And it looks like day 12 will just have to be a day late. So I'm a day late and $1 short, and that's my story. And I'm sticking to it. That's usually how it goes, right? All right. So I hope that you are continuing to enjoy all the great little extras that you can do for people this holiday season. Again, these are simple, fun, inexpensive. So think mass producing. I finally got a number of how many employees we have on our staff, and there are 76 of us. So, so I'm going to be making 76 of somethings or batches of things so that I can share some sweet treats to all of my coworkers this holiday season. So let me know what you would make for your coworkers, and how many coworkers do you have? Like 1 or 2, or are you looking at a huge number like I am? So I hope you all have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.